just wanted to start by saying one thing, and hopefully this kind of sets a tone for this evening, which is ultimately the best person for the role gets cast for the role, regardless of what kind of tape, regardless of what kind of quality tape. Any one of us has at least one story per project that we work on where we end up casting somebody who didn't have a scene partner, did it on his iPhone, and it is the worst lighting. He's basically in a closet. And so I just wanted to put that out there first and foremost. Have you guys seen extremely well put together tapes?
Yes.
And describe those a little bit.
Oh, they're a short film.
Multiple camera
I've
angles,
received a
cuts.
short film.
Yep.
Yes, it's been edited. It's got titles and everything. All it needs is a one sheet, and they can put it into a film festival. It was awesome.
How
He
do you
didn't get
feel
the job,
about that?
but it was awesome.
How do you feel about getting that
a
fully
lot.
produced?
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. Especially when you have directors that don't want you to tell them what camera angles their shot should be. Be like, I'm gonna do this over the shoulder dirty, and then I'm gonna use this 50 millimeter lens because I feel like this is what this scene calls for.
Does that help a lot in the casting process? I mean, do you give any preference to a tape that comes in like that?
No. I mean, it's cute and that's awesome, and I'll just let them know, you should do a short film. Like, you should direct. I feel directing happening from you. You're giving me director energy, and go, girl. Just awesome. But no, it's really about the acting, it's about the work, and sometimes when they get so busy with the directing and the lighting and all of that, that you're distracted from what I really need, which are the eyes and the intention and the layers. So, yeah, it can be distracting. But I understand, they want to put their best foot forward. They want to make it perfect, and like we said earlier, where is that world perfect? And how'd you get there?
Yeah, there is no
such thing.
perfect
It just doesn't
to
happen.
any one of us. I think each one of us has different preferences over what we like to see, and especially in terms of, like we talked about earlier, slate and how many takes and all of that. But there is no such thing as perfect in terms of just technical. Going back to this idea of not needing a perfectly lit, a professional reader, a Canon 5D camera to capture this moment, this audition. Do you guys have stories of when you've cast somebody and the tape was awful, or it just was not good quality, it just wasn't?
So many.
Yeah.
You want? So I was. Can I name the show? I don't.
Sure.
Okay. So I was working on Assassin's Creed, and we were looking for. We needed a percentage of diversity, and it needed to be it was very specific. And so I looked nationally, I looked internationally, and we found somebody. But he was away planning his wedding. And yes, and I said no. He was on the reserve somewhere. And so I got him to self-tape, and he did not have the right equipment. He had his phone, that was it. It came in, and I saw him for a split second. I thought, oh my gosh, this is the guy. He said maybe 2 words. I said, this is him. And then the screen just started oozing, and it was gone. And my understanding was this was the only window I had to get him, because he was going to go get married. And so I circled back, and I said, I know he's our guy. You need to get him back on the phone. You have to go find him out in the wilderness and get him back. And so, yeah, so they got him. We gave him some notes, just in case. And obviously, to check your material. To check your self-tape before you send it in. hopefully you're doing that. I know that you know you're supposed to do that, but I hope that, and so he had checked it, but something happened in the transfer. So anyway, he took the notes. He literally did it. It was against some log cabin, but it was a clean background, okay? Sent that in. It was natural lighting, but it was quiet enough, and we booked him. So, you know, but it takes communication on both sides for sure.
I did Sparkle, the remake, and I was casting the role of Sister, and Carmine Jogo, which was my top choice, but of course, you know, you put your top choice at somewhere near the bottom because the director always has to think he has the choice. And because, you know, they're men. And so, that's awesome. So, she was on holiday in Switzerland. And I sent all the tape requests and information and everything, and it was taking days and days. I'm like, what is happening? And she was like, I don't have anybody to read with me but Mummy. And I was like, okay, have Mummy read. Like, I don't care. They were in a bathroom because it was bright, and it always has great, why do bathrooms always have the best? I have no idea.
Great acoustics, too.
Right. They were in a bathroom. It was her mother. It was the scene between Mike Epps and Sister, and it was just awkward as hell because her mom is reading words for the, it just didn't make sense, but she was so good. So she got it, of course, because she's Carmine Jogo, but it was the lighting was, so she was backlit, so she was a silhouette. It was just, it was very interesting, but it's still, I mean, we could hear it, and we kind of saw her. She almost looked like an apparition, and yeah, it worked. She was haunting us on tape. It's fabulous.
So it didn't matter if you were missing some. It was just the package that you were like, this is it. Okay.
Sound.
Yeah, the actor's the
Sound
edge.
is really important.
Sound.
Yeah, sound is so important. Like, I post about this, and y'all have seen it, because I put it on Twitter like every month. I'm like, are you seriously telling me that you don't hear that smoke alarm? Like, if it's gotten to the point where you don't hear the smoke alarm, we've got to, why am I listening to the beeping of your smoke alarm on my self-tape? Come on, never fail. Every time I have beep, you don't hear it? Okay. So, got it. It's like not hearing the baby in the other room. You don't hear that baby crying? There's a baby crying. Somebody get that baby.